This is Europe. And when it comes to religious versatility, well, it doesn't have a lot to offer. You have the mainstream Christians, then the slightly weirder Christians, the weirdest Christians, and of course the Muslims. But that is different. People in the east of Europe started to embrace Christianity only about 600 years after the death of Jesus. What did they believe in before that? Who even were they? Yes, they were pagans. What are pagans, you may ask? Well, the word pagans refers to people who practice polytheism, which is basically worship not one but multiple gods. Usually, the term is used to describe the religions of either ancient Greeks, Romans, or Slavs, who we're gonna focus on today. As you might know, the Slavs come in three variations: Eastern, Southern, and Western. And while they all were pagans before Christianization, they all had their differences the way they approached paganism, since it wasn't a unified religion. Generally, the pagan gods represented natural occurrences, like the sun and lightning. They were meant to defend certain groups of people, such as kings or warriors, and they will guide you through important life instances like death. Did all the Slavs have the same list of gods? As I've said before, they all treated their religion in their own special way. They all thought of some gods being more important than the others, and some, for example, while being praised by some pagans, were not treated as deities told by others. Every tribe had their own pantheon. The most prominent gods, who were worshipped by almost all the Slavs, were Perun and Veles. Perun, being the god of thunder, was also a god of war. He was a patron of Družina, the king's warriors. Veles was considered a patron of poets and the god of wealth. As a ruler of the underworld, he would lead the dead souls into the unknown. Why these two particular gods could be considered the most prominent among the Slavs? There is actually a reason. Well, first of all, we don't know everything about Slavic paganism. Every topic is debatable, and a lot of what we know was only reconstructed. And the reconstructed Slavic creation myth features, allegedly, precisely these two deities: Veles as an alleged devil, and Perun as an alleged god. The reconstructed myth goes kinda like this. In the beginning, there was nothing except the sea, the sun, the god, and the devil. The god asked the devil to take the soil or the sand from the ocean and bring it to him. The devil did so, but hid some of the sand in the mouth and between the fingers. Once the earth was created, the devil started choking and creating terrain. The god created seas and plains, and the devil created harsh landscapes such as mountains. That's why these two gods are so important. That said, the fact that the scholars have identified the Perun as alleged god and Veles as an alleged devil doesn't suggest that these two are super important for all Slavic tribes. For West Slav Suderian tribe, who lived in today's Germany, Svetovit, the four-headed god of war, was the most powerful one. They even had a big temple dedicated to Svetovit, with his wooden statue inside, until they didn't. It was completely burned down by the Danes who conquered the main city fortress of the Iranian tribe, Arkona, in 1169. They annihilated almost everything that was tied to pagan tradition. Why almost? In the church of Altenkirchen, 10 kilometers from the place where Arkona used to be, there is a granite slab depicting Svetovit, which is dated to around the 11th century, although we don't know if it was made at the fortress or nearby. Generally, violence wasn't uncommon during Slavic conversion to Christianity. East Slavic elites, for instance, who converted to get closer to Byzantium for cultural and political exchange, faced resistance and uprising from peasants who were not ready to embrace the new religion. And there are still people nowadays who think that those peasants were right for opposing Christianity. They are the neo-pagans. They try to recreate Slavic paganism and approach the religion like their ancestors did. So yeah, Slavic paganism is complicated. I hope you enjoyed this short piece of mine. Thanks for watching.